Let me give you two sentences in English. He is sitting on the table, and sit down please. We have the same verb in English, sit. In Danish, we have to use two different verbs because it's two different concepts. If we look at the verb to lie and to lay, we kind of have a similar thing in English, but it's still a bit different in Danish. So we have the verbs to sit, lie, lay, and stand. So this video is about these three important, very important verbs of position and their 6 counterparts in Danish. We're also going to take the opportunity to look at what we call reflexive pronouns, reflexive verbs, which these or some of these 6 verbs actually are. Let's go. Hello and welcome to Mixed Languages. I am Mick. So this topic today is the verbs of position. Lie, stand, sit. Let's start with lie. In English, you have actually two different verbs for this. You have lie and you have lay, right? So you can lie on the bed, but you can lay something on the bed. And to understand the difference here between these, right, as I told in the intro, we have two verbs for this in Danish, but also for sit and for stand, we have two verbs. But looking at lie and lay, we can look at the concepts of transitive and intransitive. Transitive means that there has to be an object. The verb only forms correct sentences if we use an object, right? We cannot lay on the table. I am laying on the table. That's not a right sentence, right? We have to lay something on the table, but normally we would use put, right? In English, put. In Danish, we have the word lægge for this. And then we have the intransitive verb, which is lie. This takes no object. There cannot be an object, actually. You cannot lie something on the table, for example, right? So this is intransitive. And another difference between these two verbs is we can talk about a state and a change of state. So the state here would be lie. You are lying. You are in a state that is kind of fixed. It's not changing. Whereas lay is where you change something. You have something in your hand and put it somewhere, for example. So that's a change of state. And when we look at Danish, whenever we have a change of state, we have to use the transitive verb for sit, stand, and lay, lie. We have to use the transitive form when we change something, even if we change our own position. So now we can look at the examples to understand this better. So, bogen ligger på bordet. Bogen ligger på bordet. This is a state, right? So we use the verb ligger. Bogen ligger på bordet. And now let's take a change of state with lægger. Jeg lægger bogen på bordet. Right here it changes its state. It goes from my hand, for example, to the table. So we have to use the transitive verb lægger, which is about change of state. So, right, in English, we also have two different verbs here, right? The book lies on the table and I lay the book on the table. But when we talk about a person moving themselves or the positioning of that person, we can, for example, use this figure here, Duplo, my son's Duplo figure, to understand the difference, right? So, manden ligger på sengen. Manden ligger på sengen. Right? He is lying now. So we use the state in Danish. But now we have the change of state. So we have to use the transitive verb. Lægger. Manden lægger sig på sengen. In English, we would still use the word lie, right? The man lies down. The man lies down. So we do not use lay anymore, which is kind of strange for me as a Dane to use the same. If I were using ligger here, it would be strange. Man ligger sig på sengen. That's wrong. It has to be lægger. Man lægger sig på sengen. Right, and here we have a reflexive verb with the reflexive pronoun sig. Sig, the long form, and sig, often in a sentence, the short form, sig. So all of these reflexive pronouns are mig or ma in the fast, short version, which is mostly used in sentences. And we have dig or da. We have sig or sa. we have os, ja, and sig. So, lægger sig, right? If it were I would say, jeg lægger mig, jeg lægger mig. Jeg lægger mig på sengen, du lægger dig på sengen, han lægger sig på sengen, hun lægger sig på sengen, she. Vi lægger os på sengen, I, you guys in plural. I lægger jer på sengen, I lægger jer på sengen, og de lægger sig på sengen. Right? So, again, we have to use the change of state verb, the transitive verb here in Danish, whenever there is a change of state, right? Han lægger sig på sengen. And in this case, since there has to be an object, the object is the reflexive pronoun, sig, right? Because we cannot make a correct sentence with lægger, where we use the word lægger, without an object. Han lægger på sengen. That is just wrong. Let's move on to the next one, which is sidde and sætte, right? Sidde being the intransitive, the state verb, and sætte being the transitive with object, the change of state verb. Examples. Jeg sætter mig på stolen, right? Change of state. He's changing, he's seating himself. I guess you have the word to seat in English, but it's not that much used. Jeg sætter mig på stolen, okay? That's the change of state, and then you can make this following sentence. Nu sidder jeg på stolen. Nu sidder jeg på stolen, which is the state he is in. He is in not changing state. With the intransitive verb sidder. Nu sidder jeg på stolen. And the last verbs are stå and stille, which is what in English is to stand. So, for example, imagine this is now more than one person, just for us to use other pronouns, in this case we, right? Vi stiller os i hjørnet. Vi stiller os i hjørnet. Right? This is again the change of state. He is here, or they, if we imagine it's more than one, and they are we, right? So we are moving from here to the corner. Vi stiller os i hjørnet. Stiller os, us with the reflexive pronoun. In English, we would again say we stand in the corner, or maybe something like we place ourselves in the corner. Then we can kind of see this same reflexive idea in English, right? We place ourselves in the corner. Place has to be transitive, has to have an object. We place in the corner is not a sentence. We place ourselves in the corner, right? So you can see the similarity here. And then we could have a state of being. Nu står vi i hjørnet. Nu står vi i hjørnet. So that's står. To stand is the fixed state, whereas stille is the change of state. Okay? And now we're talking about stand. There's one more verb that's relevant in Danish, right? If we have him sitting here, right? Han sidder på stolen. Han sidder på stolen. And we ask him to stand up. Then we actually have another verb in Danish. Rejs dig op. Rejs dig op, right? This is also again transitive, right? So we have to have the reflexive pronoun, dig, da in the short form. Rejs dig op. And han rejser sig op, right? Han rejser sig op. And of course it's related to the English verb to raise. But you probably wouldn't use it here, right? Would you? He raises himself up. That kind of sounds strange. And now we can say that, super, flot, nu står du op. Nu står du op, right? So then we have again, står op, as in stand, now you're standing up. And actually important here to talk about the pronunciation. Nu står du op. Nu står du op. We have to put this exact intonation, the rhythm in a sentence, which word is stressed here, right? Because if we say, nu står du op, right? Instead of what we first said, står du op, we said, står du op, with the stress on the up only and not on the står, right? I'll read them again. Here we are saying, nu står du op, and if I say, nu står du op, then it would be telling the person, now you get up, because like you're lying in bed and now you get up. Nu står du altså op. We could use a modal particle, right? Which I had some videos about lately. Nu står du altså op. So, right? Står op versus står op. Okay, now you know about the basic idea of these transitive and intransitive verbs for positioning. The next step is to learn how to use them correctly in a sentence. And as with anything, right, you can if you just know it mentally, if you know something only mentally, it's not really a skill. To master something, we need to really train it. We need to exercise it. Just like riding a bike, you can watch millions of hours of professional cyclists, for example, in the Tour de France, riding up and down. And if you have never ridden a bike on your own, you will not know how to ride a bike, right? You will have mental knowledge, but not physical abilities. It's kind of the same with language learning. In order to make something stick, you have to use it. You have to use it a lot. You have to practice a lot. And this might sound like a lot of work, right? It might sound difficult, right? It might sound tough. And wouldn't it just be nice if we could just download the language to our brains and wouldn't have to make any effort? No, I myself wouldn't really like that. I don't want to turn into a robot. Our society is kind of forcing us to turn into robots more and more. I myself, I prefer to be a human. I don't know about you, but I really do prefer to be a human. And this includes the amazing journeys of learning something. Not just having it given to you, not just taking a pill and then you don't need to eat anymore, for example, which is a thing they have talked about in the media. I've heard about this idea. It's just weird to me, right? It's just, why would I want that? So if you, like me, would like to fight against becoming a useless robot, make sure you watch the sequel to this video where we're going to look at techniques where you can actually train this. You can actually train it and make it stick totally. You can also train the other verb tenses. We haven't talked about this here. We've only talked about the present tense here, but the past tense forms, the past tense and the present perfect tense. I will show you how you can practice these in sentences and become in Danish we would call it in high, a shark at this. You know, we will just become very, very good at it. As always, like the video if you think it deserves a like. And see you in the next video. Tak for i dag. Vi ses.